Our root balls, we obviously use the hessian and the wire when we take the trees out of the ground, and it's ungalvanized wire and very low grade hessian. So it's being done for the horticultural trade because it's biodegradable. The ungalvanized wire will just rust away, and the hessian will just disappear. So please don't take anything off, because we take so much care to get all the roots together and keep them attached to the trees. That'll be full of fine roots. So please don't take anything off. They're meant to be on there. And then when you get to plant them, the size of the hole, people always want to try and dig the hole beforehand. And I always say, wait till you get the tree when you're there, because then you make the hole just slightly bigger than the root ball, which means you almost wedge it in, which makes it easier to stake. And it also, when the roots then grow out into the proper soil structure, it'll find moisture quite a lot easier in the summertime. You don't want to bury it too deep. So you just want to go slightly deeper than the root ball, just so that everything gets covered. So maybe sort of like an inch or a couple of centimeters, depending on which way you talk, above, just so that everything is covered and that everything can rust and rot away. When you do get the tree and you haven't dug the hole, which is highly recommended, undo the canopy, because you might not always get to the string at the top. It's very, very important. Undo the canopy, open the tree up, and then where you're going to see the tree from the most, and then spin it around, not by the branches. Try and spin it around by the root ball so you don't damage the branches, and then decide on which way you're going to look at the tree, and then you dig the hole, because the root balls aren't always perfectly round. So if you pre-dug the hole, you might have got it slightly wrong. So wait till you get the tree there, get it perfect, and then mark out your hole. Just drag it out, and then you gently push it back in, and it will then plant perfectly for your planting. Yeah, whenever you move trees around or drag it away out of the way, please don't do it by the stems. Always do it by the root ball. So when you receive the tree, people always ask us, should they plant it straight away? As you can see, we've got trees sitting in our yard. We have them on pallets because we're really wet down in Devon. So just to keep the root balls from rotting. So you can have, a couple of days or even a week or so. If they start coming onto leaf, that's when they want to be in the ground, ideally. But you don't have to do it straight away. And if you're on an area where there's a high risk of frost, just put a hessian sack or something over the root ball, because when there's a frost, they might damage some of the fine roots. So that's the only thing really that stops you from keeping it for a long time. Yeah, so again, we get asked about adding compost and stuff to the soil. We sell our trees with a really lovely root ball on it. And if you add lovely compost, it's like spoiling a child. They'll never leave home. So you just want the soil that you've got on site to go around it, and then water it in to make sure there's no air pockets. But then when the roots start growing out, they grow into the soil that they're going to be growing in. So if you have really amazing compost, and then it gets to the soil, and it sort of then goes into shock, because then it realizes it's not the same that it's been growing in. So I'm really adamant that they need to be growing in the soil that they're going to be growing anyway. And then if you do want to do something for the tree, put like a bark mulch around the top. That will stop the root ball from drying out in the summertime. And also, as that bark rots down, it will encourage microorganisms and nutrients going back into the soil. So if you want to do anything, put a really nice bark mulch around the base of the tree.